Am I at the top of the mountain?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my god.
Fail.
I'm gonna add them. Hi guys, yes, I know it's been a while, and that's because a lot has been happening. I will definitely do a live update, but just so you know, right now I'm in Namibia, and really this place is so beautiful. It's so clean. I don't know if it's because I'm in Windhoek, which is the capital, and yeah, I'm discovering a lot of things. I'm very thankful because my work also gives me the opportunity to be able to travel around the world and just basically see different lives, talk to different people, understand life from their perspective. But I would say genuinely, I thought my travel in Africa will start within West Africa, for example, Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and all that area. Maybe because I am from West Africa and I feel it makes sense logically and strategically to be able to tour those areas before even moving to other parts of Africa. However, I see my work taking me to Southern Africa. And for those of you who've been on this channel for a while, those of you who've seen my previous videos will know what that means to me. My dad is from Southern Africa. Zambia is in Southern Africa. So there's South Africa as the country, and there's Southern Africa as the region. For example, when you say ECOWAS, West Africa, that's our region. So Southern Africa, Zambia is in Southern Africa. And this is my second time in Southern Africa. The first time I was there for work, I was in Zambia in 2022. 2 years later, I'm back here in this region, but this time in Namibia. So I just feel like, you know, I believe so much in the fact that life does not happen by chance. Nothing happens by coincidence. It was meant to be. Like, it was seriously meant to be. So for me, I found myself in this place. And just day before yesterday, I was at one of the events of one of our guests, and she told me that she would have never imagined that I was in fact not a Namibian. So I feel like she was kind of tapping into my Southern African heritage, and I had to tell her that. Maybe that's because of my Southern African heritage, but I think she did not really pay attention to that until today when we met again. And she said to me, you know, I still think there's this kind of resemblance you have with the locals, and there's no way that someone would believe that you're not a Namibian or you do not in fact live here. And I had to tell her again, but my dad is from Zambia. And she says, yeah, maybe that's why. And I find that to be very interesting because growing up, I have become accustomed to the fact that a lot of people think I look different. I don't look like a typical Gambian. I don't know if that makes sense, but normally people ask me, you look different, you know, where are you from? And I would say, I'm from the Gambia. No, there's something about you that is different. And I'm thinking, but what exactly? Right? I see Gambians that look like me in my head. This is what I'm thinking. But they tell me, no, there's something different. And I think when I went to Zambia in 2022, that kind of also gave me the feeling of knowing myself better. I met my siblings. You've seen those videos. I've seen more Zambians. It kind of made me see myself differently. The way I saw myself changed a bit. I kind of just decided to understand myself a little better. I saw that there were people who look like me, you know, my siblings kind of look like me. And I think it's only fair. It's only fair that I don't look like just one typical people from one typical area, because I'm a combination of two different regions. Even though I am African, my parents are African, but they both come from different parts of Africa. And I think that also speaks to the fact that people say always, and they always want to emphasize that Africa is not one country. We are a combination of different countries, and all those different countries have their own identities, if you like, or just their own similarities. When you see someone from Ethiopia, they look different from someone from West Africa, for example, Senegal or the Gambia. When you see someone, a Kenyan, for example, also there, I do think there are some Kenyans that also look different from us Gambians. So you have people from North Africa, in fact. So they are different people, and they have their own different cultural identities, if you like. And I think that is fair enough. it's also fair and logical that when someone sees me, they think I do not just represent one side of a particular region, but maybe I am mixed in other ways. So which I think it's okay, because that is who I am. And I have grown to accept that. It is something that I have longed for since I was a kid. And now finally seeing the way of life of the people on the other side of my lineage, that kind of gives me some sort of fulfillment. It just kind of gives me a certain closure that I did not have when I was a kid. So I will take these opportunities as they come. I have a feeling definitely I will visit West Africa. I'll definitely be there someday. But as long as work is taking me around this part of the world, I am okay with that. I also just wish that my little siblings would also have that opportunity to be able to see where we come from, to be able to learn about our history, to be able to learn about my dad and his region. So all of these things happen with time eventually, but I come to Namibia, I see Namibians. Obviously Namibia has a very fragmented history. Namibia has a very diverse culture, you know the history of how Germany colonized Namibia. So you have whites in Namibia, you have blacks in Namibia, you have all these different races in Namibia. It's a combination of different sections of society that live in this country. And I think it just kind of tells us that our past very much affects the way we live now in very specific ways as it relates to specific countries. And these people are living with that. Obviously, there are parts of their history that they definitely need to reconcile with. There are parts of their history that they have to come to terms with. But when you look at the people, you can definitely tell that something did in fact happen here. And so I think that's a conversation that we as Africans should be ready to have. Let's talk about ourselves. Let's talk about our fragmented history. Let's talk about, our lineage. Let's talk about who we are, our identity, and where all of that stems from, the different aspects that make us who we are. Because obviously we've gone through a lot. Africans have gone through a lot. And that process has affected our culture today, our socioeconomic status, the way our society is constructed, the way we even see ourselves, the way we analyze the past, the history, the way we relate to other people that are different from us. So we need to learn that. And it starts with the education system. And that is why I'm very excited about this trip, because we get to revisit the education system, understand what students are being taught about their own history, but also how they're able to interpret that as it relates to their day-to-day lives. This is something that is right before them, and they can see that. They can see the effects of events that happened in the past. For example, colonialism, they can see that they're living it. So how about have open conversations about this without any sense of fear? So these are things that we need to start talking about. So for me, I'm very happy because my job gives me the privilege to be able to lead those conversations, to be able to dive deep into people's stories, tap into their knowledge, and be able to just, add that to what I also understand as a human being. And of course, I also have my subjective interpretation to all these things. And as human beings, we all have our subjective understanding, and those understandings also affect the way we see and interpret things. And of course, I come from a different background. I come from a different setting. I come from a different colonial history. So all of those things also impact the way I see things. But outside of that, it's important that when we experience life as it is, we put aside our own external understanding or outside perspective and listen and interpret things from people's also, inside perspective. And ultimately, the combination of those different perspectives gives us a balanced understanding to life. And it's something that we can also interpret from our own understanding that clearly is influenced by all these different aspects that we bring into our own subjective interpretations. There's a lot of history on the African continent, and it's something that we should be willingly able to talk about, because it definitely affects our day-to-day life, and it will continue to affect that if we do not want to start having those difficult conversations. So follow us at the 77%, because those are conversations that we like to have. I've also used the opportunity to see Namibia a little bit. Of course, those who know me, the only time I get to do that is when I finish work. So work is done and I'm able to explore a little bit, and I think Namibia is very, very beautiful. And I'll show you a bit of that. I'm at the national park exploring. I'm already seeing very nice stuff. I think it's really peaceful, and I could sleep here. You know? Yeah, I think it's kind of relatable because I'm from Abuko, and Abuko is where the nature reserve is. Although it's quite ironic because I never visited it while I was there. But I've been to excursions at the reptile farm, and I did those things. And I still have those memories. I do not like hiking, guys. And I think that makes sense because in the Gambia, where would you hike to? We live in a flat land, okay? Now I have to climb all these steps. And this is not even serious hiking, according to Kai. This is just like mini hiking. I have to climb these steps. I walked all the way from there, right there, and up here. You can see now. We're up here. Can I show them one biltong?
Yeah.
This is the biltong. It's raw meat made of different spices. We dry it, no? And try and package it. It's not very cheap, but it's so good.
You can have that.
Like 2 hours in here. You can see it now. Exhaustion is setting in. Yeah, but another thing is the place is dry, very dry, because Namibia also experiences drought, and you can already see that, you know, by the way the trees are. Basically, the place is empty. So. But that happens when you're hiking or going to the top of the mountain. You need water with you and a bit of energy. But I liked everything about this. I would do this again, really. But thank you so much. Yeah, so I was able to see all of those things, and I just want to say, use the opportunity to travel if you have it. Take any opportunity to travel if you have it. Travel has changed my life a lot. I know some of us are very desperate to travel, and we want to do it in the wrong way, you know, using the boats. It's not easy, because what happens if you lose your life in the process, and then you get deported, and that's an additional trauma. Yes, I know we all come from different backgrounds or different situations, but I only hope that we can all do it in the right way. Of course, I wish there were ways that are simpler, you know, ways that would not make it difficult for everybody to experience that. But as long as this is what we're blessed with, until we're ready to have the conversations to make life a little bit easier for us, let's try to do things the right way, in a way that it will not also harm us. So once you get the opportunity to be able to do that, to be able to travel the right way and experience life, take it, because it has really shaped my perspective of life. It has really changed a lot in me. So I just hope that we can have more conversations about that. Thank you. Make sure to subscribe. I will try to be updating this channel as often, but that would depend on how you react to the videos. So if you want to see more of me and more of my impressions, perhaps, please continue liking, subscribe, and share the videos. Thank you so much, and keep following us. Also follow 77% to see the work that we're doing on the African continent, and of course with African young people. Thank you, and yeah, I will definitely give you that live update very soon.